because it's direct to consumer, I know that we have a lot of processes. Like I mentioned, we have to make the design. We have to have it fulfilled in the production side. We have to store inventory. We have to have certain software to track that inventory. So there's a lot of processes. And then, for it to go out the door to the customer, there's a lot of processes.
Yeah.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Driven. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing our logistical process for our e-commerce business.
And so for those that don't know us, my name is Juan. This is my brother Alexis. And in 2019, we started an e-commerce automotive film company that currently does over $3 million a year in run rate sales. And so I think at least up to that point, we have an idea as to what we're talking about.
Yep. And going back to the process of the logistical side for the e-commerce business, I know that when it comes to e-commerce business, we've been doing e-commerce for a long time. Yeah. I think you have been doing it longer than I have, by far. And then with this business, I know we're in the automotive industry, film business, but then we're also in the e-commerce industry. Primarily, we're e-commerce. And I know, we started this business 5 years ago. And so I'm pretty sure both of us got a lot better in e-commerce. We had to learn the logistical side. We had to learn the whole process of making our product, designing our product, to fulfilling it with the production side, to shipping it, to getting the supplies, to getting the, getting software that we need just to make everything a lot easier.
Yeah.
So just a quick overview. What type of business do we do?
Well, vehicles. There's a lot of people like blacking it out or, blackout kits. So, for example, for the chrome, the shiny chromey part on the side windows or the grille, we black it out. For the headlights, taillight, we smoke it out. For, decals in general, we do that. For the quarter windows where it's glass, we do, American flags, different designs. And so we do pretty much pre-cut films, and we sell it direct to consumer. Now, I know there's occasions where we do sell to shops, but essentially that's what it is. We sell the kits direct to consumer, pre-cut films, and that includes vinyl wrap, paint protection film, anti-fog film, screen protector film, Alcantara. What other ones do we do off the top of your head? Sunroof protection, windshield protection. Film,
carbon fiber, maybe getting into the color change PPF,
maybe the color change PPF, not vinyl but PPF. So those films, we pre-cut them to shape for whatever the customer wants. Now we mainly have our set kits, but in the occasion that we do get a lot of demand, we'll go out and make a new product.
Yeah,
but essentially that's what we do.
Yeah. And what's the process? Because I know that because it is pre-cut, we had to have certain design, we had to have certain measurements for the vehicle. If not, it wouldn't be a pre-cut. It would be maybe just trying to guess here and there, and it would become bulk. The person would have to do the measurements themselves, or they would have to do certain cuts and whatnot.
Right.
And since I know you mentioned it's direct to consumer, I know right now our focus is in shops. But we do have certain shops coming here and there, to purchase some of the things we have. But because it's direct to consumer, I know that we have a lot of processes. Like I mentioned, we had to make the design. We have to have it fulfilled in the production side. We have to store inventory. We have to have certain software to track that inventory. So there's a lot of processes. And then, for it to go out the door to the customer, there's a lot of processes.
Yeah.
So what's the process if we want to make a product, either for the blacking out the chrome, whether it be smoking out the headlights? What's the process from start to finish? I know the first process is getting the measurements, right?
Yeah.
So how does that start? Briefly.
Pretty much we identify a vehicle. We get it in our shop. And then, with whatever product it is that, we're doing, whether it be the headlights, the chrome part, the, window, we just get the measurements for it. We create the file, and then we go ahead, and it's pretty much, done. And so that's essentially the process that we do for for creating the measurements. Now, I know that, once we make the measurements, the process, it's not done yet.
Yeah.
And so, next, we had to make it available for customers. So we had to create the images for it. We had to let the customers know that it's available. So we create the images for it, and then we go ahead and list it on our website. and then the different marketplaces that we sell it for. So it's available there, and then hopefully it starts selling. So, and then after it sells, production or our fulfillment site, they go ahead and fulfill it. And since the file's already done, they go ahead and prep it, which in general we only have like a few categories of products. So even if it's a completely new product, let's say, if it's in that category, they're gonna be able to fulfill it because we already have a process down. So pretty much, and then like it's prepped, it's ready to go, it's shipped out via USPS or UPS. FedEx we don't really use, and it's good to go. So pretty much that's the process. Comes in, gets measurements, design, or the listers. They go ahead and make the images and listings for our website and other marketplaces, and then now it's available for customers. Once they purchase it, it's sent to the fulfillment side and they fulfill it, and it's good to go, and hopefully everything is good and the customer leaves a positive review. And that's how essentially our business operates and runs. That's what it mainly consists of.
So I know throughout the whole process there's a lot of, I know that was very brief and like that, but I know that there's a lot of parts, moving parts that go into it, because I know we also have to keep track of inventory. We have to keep track of the people. We have to keep track of what sells, what doesn't sell, the marketplaces, where are we going to sell it? Is it going to be marketplaces, our website? So there's, and even building our website, I know we could go Shopify, we could go Square, we could go Wix, BigCommerce. So there's a lot of moving parts. So moving with the first one, inventory. I know that we have a lot of inventory because I know there's different services or different products that we have from the leads. I know that smoking out the headlights, PPF, the carbon fiber PPF. So how do we keep track of inventory, and how much do we decide as a e-commerce business? How much do we decide is the right quantity to buy? Yeah.
So I know that for inventory, for our raw material, we keep roughly we use Box Zero, which is very simple.
It's simple, but because most of our inventory is simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. And so luckily, we're able to, to use that simple software. And so we use that one, which is very simple. If you have a more advanced inventory system, then it's not recommended. It's not recommended. It's pretty much almost like an Excel sheet. But it's a lot. The interface is a lot easier to use than an Excel sheet, and we probably could have made something on Excel, which actually we could ask ChatGPT to create a file like that. We could. Yep. And so that's we use that. But I know that for others it might be different, and so we use that. And then I know that one of the things that we learned along the way is that not to overbuy an inventory, because we did that once. And unfortunately, that inventory came out bad. And it was supposed to be 6 months worth of inventory. Yeah. And so all of that was pretty much money wasted. Yep. And so now we try to be at roughly 3 months worth of sales for inventory. So if we buy inventory, hopefully it lasts us 3 months. And that's the goal and expectation for us when we buy the inventory. But I know it's very hard to predict. Yeah. Because not too long ago, and it was a good problem, is that we bought inventory for 3 months. Our sales were like at in the low twos, but then there was the jump, and so it was reaching almost 300,000 every month. And so that spike in sales, it really, like, our inventory ran out fast. So we had to do we had to purchase a lot of inventory, and we had to do like expedited shipping, and so that really cost us a lot. But it was a good problem to have, because that means that the sales were going higher. And so, but in general, a rule of thumb that I think we've kind of come to a conclusion is that no more than 3 months, no less, because then you have to buy more frequently, and then for any unexpected like surges in sales, it's going to be hard. But in general, I think 3 months is a sweet spot for us and our business, because for others it might change. Because I know for something that has maybe a higher cost of goods, or like it's more relative to the sales, maybe 3 months might be too much, and so maybe like a month, 2 months, or maybe like there's others that where you might need more. But for us, that's the sweet spot, and that's something that we purchase the inventory, and it's not like money going out that is going to be a huge detriment, but at the same time it's enough inventory to last us any unexpected surges and a good amount of time. So that's roughly 3 months.
So I know you mentioned that we use Box Hero because it's very simplified. What about if someone has complex inventories? Because I know, remember we used to do arbitrage where we didn't have large quantities of one product. So like for example, if we were only selling a white t-shirt, we could have like thousands, and we're only gonna have a white t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then if we have black and red and whatever, it's only gonna be limited amounts of t-shirts. Arbitrage, I know that we used to buy pallets of random stuff. So for the majority of our inventory, if we have 1,000 units to sell, there would be 1,000 units of different products. So if that's the case, someone is starting an e-commerce business and something similar, they have a lot of inventory. What are some software or some programs that people can use to keep track of their inventory that you know of?
Yeah, and so I guess for us, like for our business, it also slightly differed and changed. Because I know that for us, it's just like the raw material. But for example, if you got a finished product where only you have limited inventory and you can't really make it or create it, I think for us it's more manufacturing.
Yeah.
That type of inventory software that we use. But for example, if you got like clothing, like you got a 1 of 1 or 1 of 2, and you know, like you want to list it on different marketplaces on your website, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, or you know, whatever. There's kind of like how we used to do it for those type where you can't really create it, and once it's out of stock, it's out of stock. You know, we used to use Ecom Dash. I know there's other ones, Sellbrite or Sellerbrite. And I know that the most not the most common, but the most powerful, and I think the most highly rated, and the reason why I say that is because I used to work at a company that, you know, had 80 employees, and they used to use that. And then there's a lot of big companies that do use that software or platform. It's called Channel Advisor, or it was called Channel Advisor, but I know they merged with another company, so now I know that it's something else. I just can't remember.
It's not Sellbrite?
It's not Sellbrite. It's you just Google Channel Advisor, and it's gonna be something like, I'll Google it right now. But it's Channel Advisor merged with another company. Channel Advisor. So I'll go. What is it called? Rhythm. RITHUM Corporation. Now I know that that's very popular and a very powerful tool. Now I know that there's a lot of, you know, but because it is and it provides a lot of value, I know it's expensive. Yeah. I know for every sale they charge a percentage of your sales for all the sales, and at the same time they have a monthly payment or a monthly payment, which I think can range. I'm not fully sure, so I'm gonna be speaking off of, I think, from what I've heard. Is I know that another place that I used to work at, I think they used to pay $1,000 a month. I know there's others that it's higher.
Yep.
But I think for those type of e-commerce companies, I think the value that it provides, I think it's more than worth it. Why? You know, such big companies have used it, and you know, even like companies like you know, Puma, that they're trying to get rid of their excess, or like Reebok, they use Channel Advisor. There's, you know, big companies that do use it. So, you know, to list on eBay, on Amazon, on their website, you know, to keep track of the inventory. So those are some of the softwares. But I know that for us is we mainly make our products. So it's more of the raw material. Like, you know, we have 100 rolls of so-and-so. You know, we deduct it every time we use it, and it's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Yeah.
Okay. So now it goes... so that's our inventory. So I know once we get the measurements, we already talked about this. Okay, so we get our measurements. It goes up on the website, and then we also keep track of inventory. So the next step is through production. So how is the process through production?
It's pretty simple. An order comes in, we print out a label through ShipStation, and that's one of the things that really saves us a lot of time, integrating all the marketplaces into one shipping software, where all the orders, you know, are available and visible on, you know, one interface or one, you know, software. And so from that, we go ahead and print out the labels. And so once the labels are done, that's when they can go ahead and fulfill it. So, you know, take the label, you know, get the correct film, put it through our cutters, prep it, box it, and then put that label that they have on the box, and it's shipped out via primarily USPS or UPS. And that's pretty much the process when it comes to fulfillment.
What about some of the machines that we use?
I know we have two different types of... Actually, okay, we have several machines.
Oh, so, yeah, several machines.
But I guess just for... you want me to go through all of them?
Just for simplicity, just like overall, like I know we have...
small cutter.
Small cutters, big cutters,
cutters.
Yeah, just like cutters, and then we have some other stuff.
Yeah, so we have you know, small graph tech cutters, the largest graph tech cutters, which is the FC9000. We have the Rolls Roller, which helps a lot with transfer taping for us, and then we have a scanner.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Because I know with the cutters that I don't think we need anything else, and it suffice. I remember we started with the small machine, remember?
Yeah.
And that lasted us a year until we got another one.
Yep.
Because it was enough.
Yep.
So, okay, we have that. Okay. And then after that, I know that when we ship the products, there's two things we have to worry about. There's two things we have to take care of. One is the supplies, which is, the packaging material.
Yeah.
If we're going to send it through a box, through an envelope, if we're going to add stuffing, if we're going to add, not just that, but if we're going to make custom packaging, if we're going to make it look nice, if we're going to have brand to it. So that's the first one. So when it comes to the shipping supplies, how do we keep track? How do we purchase? Where do we purchase from?
Okay, so we primarily purchase from Uline and Papermart. So I think they're just the ones with the most products that we use from them. So Uline and Papermart. And so I know that for this ones, because, they're not like one roll, two rolls or anything like that. They're in the tens of thousands of individual boxes or packaging materials. And so I know that it's more visual. So I know that we have a pallet rack that runs across through the warehouse, and then it's very visual. So like once something is running out, it's very visible that they can see that it's running out. And I know that's one of the things that we also learned from like lean manufacturing, is that it doesn't need to be complicated. I know there's visuals, and I know we could probably get better. Luckily, for the things that are available or in stock, for like things that we purchase on Uline, let's just use Uline for simplicity. We've never run out of those. Granted, they get here the next day, so it's like, that's that. But I know it's visual. So for example, once it gets to a certain level, that's when someone from production notifies the one who purchases the products, and then it arrives the next day. Now for custom boxes, which we have in the past, it's a little bit hard, because it's also hard to predict how much volume the manufacturers have for those packagings, and then how long it'll take for them to reply, and how long it'll take for them to manufacture it. So that one's a little bit more complicated. But we use visuals when it comes to like our individual boxes or packaging or shipping boxes that we use. So that's more visual. Yeah.
So it's just on a needs basis, no? Like whatever materials we need, and then we try to aim for like a month, 2 months.
Yeah, and the thing with that is that we also don't try to a month. I think a month, because we try not to overbuy, because we do evolve and adapt pretty quickly. And so if we buy a lot of something, then it's very good chance that we might have to change it, and then those boxes are just dead. It's just money that they're sitting. Like I think you still remember in 2021 we bought some 24 by 6 by 6 boxes.
Yep.
And they're still up there.
Yeah, they're still
3 years.
up there.
3 years.
And it wasn't even a pallet. It was maybe like 4 or 5 bundles, and then bundles is just like you have 10 boxes in a haystack or whatever.
Yep. And so a month, most 2 months for the most popular items.
Yeah, because I remember one time just to save money, we bought envelopes from overseas directly from the manufacturer, and it took us over a year to get rid of them.
Yeah. I mean, we got rid of them, but it did take us a while.
Yeah, it was cheaper overall, but I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, especially if you're also buying products as your inventory.
Yeah.
Because, so it's a fine line of between deciding if like you're going to stock up on shipping supplies to save money, or you're going to do your inventory.
Yep. Okay.
So we ship it. So the supplies was the first thing. The second thing is the shipping. I know that when it comes to shipping in the US, there's only a few carriers that we work with.
Yeah.
And I think there's only a few carriers available at all. What are the carriers?
So the most popular ones that, we'll tell you the two that we use the most. It's USPS and UPS. Primarily, it's the, the cost associated with them. Both, USPS, the cheapest, but also I would think the most unreliable by far. UPS, it's very reliable, but then it's for us and the rates that we get, it's cheaper for us than, for example, FedEx. But I know there's other ones that we don't use, like DHL, and then I think On Track, different ones that you've probably never heard of, but primarily the ones that we use is USPS, UPS.
Yeah. So I know that when we started going directly with UPS. Oh, we used to go to their shop, because I know they have physical locations, and we used to buy the labels, which we would pay retail price for it.
Yep.
Eventually, we started working with platforms like Amazon, eBay, and Etsy, where they have like discounted shipping rates, and you're able to print out the label there. Now I know eventually you could also go with third-party websites,
shipping softwares. Yeah.
shipping softwares. So what are some of those websites for people to get discounts?
So I know that like ShipStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
ShipStation is one of them. I know there's Easy Ship, something Hippo Ship or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
And I know that even there's some platforms that have come out with their own. Like I know Amazon came out with
Vico, yep.
Vico, which they Amazon Shipping is also another one that I forgot to mention. Another carrier now that they're also shipping non-Amazon stuff. And so I think because they built such an infrastructure that maybe their volume itself is not enough, so they're trying to become a carrier themselves. Well, I'm not saying, I don't know if that's the case, but it appears that they're becoming a carrier themselves. So yeah, those are some of them that we've heard of.
How would people decide if I'm barely starting? Do I need a ShipStation? Do I need a Vico, Amazon Shipping?
And I think it might be a little bit biased, but I think the easiest one to use is ShipStation, and that's because that's what we use.
Yep.
And so I know that we started using it when we were doing less than $1 million a year, but ShipStation is pretty easy. There's a lot of resources on it. It's relatively cheap. I think the cheapest one is like 10, 20, 30 bucks a month. Relatively cheap. And the fact that there's a lot of resources, there's it's a big company, so there's a lot of support, or there's what do you call this, not Reddits, but forums that things like that. And so if something were and it's pretty reliable.
It's reliable, and I know it also saves time, because I know instead of having, like, if you sell on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, there's also Poshmark. There's a lot of marketplaces. I know if you don't have something similar to a shipping software, you have to go to the individual marketplace. You have to print out the label. You have to, do all that. I know with ShipStation, you're able to integrate all those platforms into one interface. And then with that interface, you could just print out all the labels.
Yep.
It saves time.
A lot of time. Yep.
It saves a lot of time. So, yeah, I think when you first start, for me personally, I don't think you need one. Like, if you maybe get one order like every so often, maybe like once a week an order, then yeah, you don't need it. But if you're getting multiple orders a day, then I think it's good.
From different platforms. Yep.
Yeah, it's on different platforms. I think it's really good to invest in that.
Because if you're like a one-stop shop and you're only selling like a few a day, it does make sense to just stick with that, because you're gonna save those, let's say 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. And it doesn't make sense. But if you're receiving like a couple dozen from different places, it probably makes sense. Makes sense.
Yep. Now I know that's I guess let's just say that's towards the end of the process for the customer, the buying journey. So it gets to them, they like it, they don't like it. So either in the industry that we're at, it's automotive parts, so they have to install it. So there's a lot of customer questions, there's a lot of returns. So what's the process with the customer service? Yeah. So what's our process? How do we handle it? How have we handled it?
So whenever if there's no issue, that's pretty much the last kind of interaction that we have with the customer, unless they leave a review. If they complain, we go ahead and try to handle it to the best of our ability with whatever that case may be. Installation videos or directing them to resources. If it's a refund, it depends on the situation. But in general, I think we try to be fair. And then if there's a return, then I know now we're doing something different where we're trying to reach out to them and seeing, how we can better, a better alternative than to a return, whether it be like a replacement or something like that. So then, that's how we handle any customer interactions after the product has been purchased.
Do we send an email for them to give us a review? Do we send anything
on our website? On our website, we do. And then on our packaging, we ask them also for a review. So we send a little card that thanks them for the purchase, and if to leave a review. And then for email, I know that only through our website. But then I know that actually I don't know, like, if that one thing for emails that passed a policy. It reduced, or I don't know exactly what happened, but I did see a down of the amount of reviews that we were getting. So. But on our website, we do have an Judge Me, it's called. It requests customer reviews from the customers. And then on, you know, the different marketplaces, it's really up to them. So it's, you know, because like you shop on Amazon, you don't ask or you don't receive questions for reviews or anything like that. And so, yeah, that's that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much the whole customer journey. I know that when it comes to the logistical side of e-commerce, there's a lot that goes into it. I know we just try to briefly go over it because there really is a lot. It took us 5 years, more than 5 years, to learn everything, and I know we're still learning e-commerce.
Yep.
So there's a lot to learn, and I know that the best way to learn is not only, you know, doing your research, not only looking at resources, taking courses. I know that's not the only way. There's other ways, and I think the best way is to implement.
Yep.
If you're gonna start an e-commerce business, it's just by trial and error.
Yep.
Because I feel like a lot of people are visual learners or hands-on learners. I know one thing is watching a video, but once you're actually learning it, or once you're actually experiencing it, it sticks with you.
Yeah. So pretty much just do it. You'll learn. That's how we learned.
Yep.
I mean, we had some resources on YouTube and maybe on some forums, but we really learned by doing it.
Yep.
That's pretty much how we learned.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope.
Nope. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Driven. My name is Juan.
My name is Alexis.
And we'll see you on the next one.